Don't blink or don't watch. It's not that bad, but it's certainly not the most enjoyable thriller movie. Hey yo, what's good? Welcome to The Gist, with me, Jared. Channing Tatum stars in Don't Blink, a thriller revolving around a tech billionaire who invites a young woman to his private island estate. But things are not as they seem as she starts to question the events unfolding before her.
We're going to my island for a few days. Do you guys want to come?
This is crazy. Did we just jet off to a billionaire's island with a bunch of strangers? No, he's not a stranger. He's Slater King.
Alright, so I had a mild interest in this movie. I wanted to see if there was going to be any ingenuity or subversion of expectations that this film could bring to the genre. Unfortunately, it's very predictable, and if you're somewhat aware of the current socio-political discourse, the messaging is very overt. The movie started off pretty good. I liked the cinematography. The shots were interesting and engaging. The majority of the film had an eerie tone with some moments of levity and comedy that kept my attention. I was invested in the story early on and liked that it was set in our modern world. It is a fairly believable and grounded story. There isn't a significant amount of suspension of disbelief that's required to watch the film. However, when it comes to the pacing of the movie, it took way too long to get to the point. It could have been trimmed up and sped up quite a bit. We spent 2/3 of the movie in setup. It was easy for the audience to see where the plot was going early on, despite the movie not revealing those facts just yet. The outcomes of Blink Twice are easily telegraphed by the tone and scenes provided earlier on in the movie. I didn't find it necessary to reiterate and revisit the initial premise the innumerable amount of times that we did. I think it would have been more interesting to see how the characters would strategize getting out of their unfortunate predicament. Or a bigger twist towards the final arc could have added more intrigue. But again, the movie just spent way too much time setting up the reveal that was already made obvious. Speaking of the final arc, it had moments that I was impressed with and others that I rolled my eyes at. There was a noticeable tonal shift that didn't work for me. The movie went for more humor when I think it should have leaned into the dreadful. Channing Tatum's performance was quite incredible, especially during that last sequence. He played the tech billionaire stereotype very well, and his ability to immediately switch his emotional status was a spectacular feat to see. Blink Twice is well acted all around, but Channing Tatum was the clear standout for me. As mentioned before, once the big reveal happens, the movie does get pretty heavy-handed with its socio-political messaging. This may be a brief spoiler, so you've been forewarned. Blink Twice was not subtle at all when it came to its stances on rich white men in positions of power or authority. There was quite a few times when the dialogue was heavy-handed when it came to this group of people and how they take advantage of women. And then, to top it off, we have the women of color taking down the white man, freeing themselves and each other from oppression, and then using the white man's power to serve their own desires. I don't mind that the writers and director wanted to tell a story about white men who use their prominence and opulence for nefarious purposes. But I just would have hoped for a more creative and possibly nuanced execution, rather than the plain one we got. And that's the gist for some of my thoughts on Blink Twice. I didn't find this movie very thrilling. I was hoping for a more unnerving and suspenseful time at the theater, but unfortunately, experienced an exhaustive and laborious chunk of a movie that led to a predictable conclusion. And then it doesn't help that the movie was borderline preachy at times, which amounted to a less than entertaining experience. I'd like to know what you think of Blink Twice. Did you find it thrilling and entertaining? Hit me up! Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I'll catch you next time on The Gist.